Welcome back to the channel. We are on Banished episode 22 and we have built our first country house. This is in here where Charnabode, Stone House, this one, the country house, which as you can see requires 30 lumber, 1 building supply and 1 homeware supply. So we're going to run through the production change to get to this house. So first thing we need to do is to get the forester lodge in place because we need to get some logs. So I'm going to click on each one and see what they're actually doing. So this one is hidden behind here. So the forester produces quite a lot of logs. It's got 412, just a few roots as well, but it's bringing in quite a lot. So you can harvest them individually or you can go to the forester lodge. I tend to go for the forester lodge because it makes life a little bit easier. So that's the first thing. We need to get rid of this off the screen. I will be getting rid of everything off the screen. So the forester lodge brings in the logs. The logs will then go to the water wheel. And if we click on that, this is over here. The logs go to the water wheel and they produce the firewood. So that's the water wheel. Let's have a look at their production rate. The firewood are bringing about 352. But we do have 3 workers on that water wheel. So 352, about 117 for each person. So the water wheel will produce the firewood. The firewood then needs to go to the fuel refinery, which is over here, tucked away behind the trees. This will produce the furnace fuel. And we've got 1 person on the fuel refinery. So look at the stats. Not that much furnace fuel. I think I've only just turned it on again. So that was probably half a season. So we've got a furnace fuel of 100 at least for the 1 person. Once we've got the furnace fuel, we can keep that in storage and we can go to the shore house, which produces the clay. So I'll click on that. Let's center that up. The trees are a little bit overgrown here. So this one is producing the clay. We've got 1 person working on that. That brings in about 158 per season. And again, I think I've only just put the 1 person back on. So that's bringing in quite a lot of clay. The clay will then be sent to the brickworks. The sensor on the brickworks. Brickworks is over here. We need to clear away some of these trees. You can just about see the brickworks beneath there. So the brickworks and the furnace fuel will produce the bricks. You need 13 clay and 3 furnace fuel. And if we look at how many bricks are being produced, not that many. We've only got 21 and 15. So probably if you're putting a brickworks in, you might need to up the number of people that's working on the brickworks. If we look at the professions, we've only got 3 labourers, 3 builders. So I'm going to increase those in a minute once this episode is done, but I'll put everybody on these works just for now. So the brickworks is producing the bricks. We'll need that later on. The sawmill can either produce firewood or lumber. So we can change that to lumber and that will produce lumber. At the moment that is producing firewood and it's producing quite a lot of firewood. But the sawmill and the water sawmill can produce the lumber. So that's that one. Eventually we get to this building supplier. We click on the building supplier over in this direction. So this building supplier said it's waiting for materials, and that's because we haven't got enough bricks. But it has produced some building supplies. You're not going to get too many building supplies per season. But you need lumber, obviously 18 of those and 30 bricks, and that will produce the building supplies. So you can see from the house, if we go back to the house later on, that we need homewares as well. So over here is your homeware supplier, and well, let's just say how we get through to that. Now you could say, well, okay, it needs cotton, but it actually starts from the hunting cabin. The hunting cabin will produce quite a bit of leather and venison, feathers, duck meats, and some of these are tradable items. So let's go to the hunting cabin. This is the hunting cabin over here. So you can get leather from the hunting cabin, and you can also get leather from bisons. That gives 21 leather. Now I use leather at the farm supplier trading part. So this is the farm supplier. If you click on that, we'll open this up, and you can see that we've got quite a lot of hide coats in there. I tend to go for about 350 because that makes it over 5,000. So I can buy any seeds that I want. The maximum you can get for seeds is 5,000. And that's just one seed, but it'll keep you going for forever. So the hide coats is my trade item, which I'm going to trade for either animals or seeds. And you can see over here, you can ask the trader to bring any of these seeds. So that's what you can do. I'm not going to trade anything just now, so I'm going to dismiss him. But that's how we get to the trading part. Once you get to trading, you can trade for cotton. And then cotton is used in the plantation. So the plantation, I'll just set up a little bit of a plantation over here. This is only just been put on, I think, but it yields quite a bit of cotton, 160 in the previous season, and that is enough for us to go on to getting the cloth. So the cloth only needs cotton, and that is done at the weavers. I'll go over to the weavers. So this one gets the cotton, produces the cloth. And again, we'll have a look at how much it does produce. So it produces 48 cloth. Not a massive amount, but it's enough to get onto the bedding maker. And you see the bedding maker requires cotton and cloth. So we've already got the cotton from the plantation added to the cloth, and that will give us the bedding. Again, if we just move that over, we can see that we've got the bedding maker there. I will improve these plots of land around all the industries, but for now we're just looking at the production chains. So this is the bedding maker producing bedding, and that's all good. The joiner needs to produce the furniture because we need bedding and furniture for the homeware supplier to produce the homewares. So we've already got the bedding, the furniture. The joiner, which is next door here, can produce the furniture from the logs. It also produces fancy furniture, but you need hardwood for that. I don't think we've got any hardwood at the moment, so we need to plant some hardwood. If you go into foresters, you can see we've got normal ones, and then you've got palm trees, bamboo, lodge pines, hardwood forester. So you'd need to put one of them into your town to get the hardwood for the fancy furniture, and that will lead to building of housing for quite a few of these other houses. But for now, just to get to the homeware supplier, we've got the logs coming into the joiner, and they will produce the furniture. The furniture will be sent to the homeware supplier, which is over here. We've got two of those, and they will produce the homewares. So we've got 2 homewares in the previous season, we've got 4 in this season, and that will go on to produce the country house. So that's a nice look at the production chains and what's required to get to these stages. If we just have a quick look around our small town, things are shaping up quite nicely. We've got the industrial area over there. We have this area with the new country house, and then we've got the old church there. So things are coming on with Banished. We've still got plenty to do. We've got a huge map to sort out. But that's just a quick look at Banished and how good it is with the production change, and that's what produces this country house. If we look at building another one next to it, so I'll just swing that round so it's next to it. You can see we've got a few different models. So that's the first model. You press F, that will give you the same model I've got there. And then this one is a different one, and also that one. I think that one might be the same as the other one. It is, yeah. So this one has a slightly different roof. So you've got 4 models of country houses, and you can see what it's required to build. So we're going to put another one in that's similar, and we'll build that, and we'll have a look at some other things, some other houses maybe in the next episode. So thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this look at the production change in Banished. I think it's a really great game. You've got loads of things to do in this city. Got absolutely tons of buildings that you can put on. We've got row houses here, office tower houses. This one is a captain tower, a nice one that we can maybe put on top of the bridge. So we've got absolutely loads of different types of buildings that we can construct in our town. So thanks very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this episode of Banished, and hope you'll come back for the next one.